The opposite of success isn't failure. The opposite of success is not trying. Quincy began to look at me almost as if he understood something about me that I didn't. And he put a hand on my shoulder. He said, "That's okay, man. It's how you learn." And it was almost as if my whole body was this overinflated tire and he had just hit this escape valve and all this excess pressure was rushing out. And he looked at me and he goes, "Look, 99% of people hate their mistakes. They don't want to talk about their mistakes. They want to pretend they never happened. They treat their mistakes as their biggest enemy. And that's the biggest mistake you can make. Because it's only when you treat your mistakes as your best friends, it's only when you cherish them can you learn from them. And only then can you grow. Your mistakes are your best friend if you choose to make it so." And that was a great lesson, but the Quincy Jones vortex kept on going. And it's now been 3 hours and, I'm just sitting on the couch and, eventually I can feel the interviews starting to slow down. And I just looked at him and I was like, "Mr. Jones, I just have to tell you, this changed my life." And he's like, "That's so wonderful. How so?" And I'm like, "You taught me how to be a person of the world. You taught me how to grow." And he's like, "Amazing. In what way?" I'm like, "Well, you told me that you can only really grow if you travel and explore." And he's like, "No. You have to cherish your mistakes." And it was almost as if he wasn't going to let me leave that room until it finally sunk in. And in that moment, it did. And I remember having this epiphany just sitting there on his couch that I had spent 7 years assuming that the opposite of success is failure. Going back to the implicit and explicit messages, what's one of the biggest lessons we get, in kindergarten? The opposite of black is white, the opposite of up is down, the opposite of success is failure. And it wasn't until I sat there with Quincy Jones that I realized not only are success and failure not opposites, they're actually different results of the same thing. Trying. They're different sides of the same coin. So the opposite of success isn't failure. The opposite of success is not trying. And I remember sitting there and swearing to myself that from this point on, I would become unattached to succeeding and unattached to failing and instead be committed to trying and growing. And if there's one lesson, one thing I can share with you all today, it's that.